Hey, what's up guys? Happy Friday. Today we're going to do a short video based on a message somebody sent me on Facebook. They sent me some of their designs and they said, why am I not making any sales? And while I can't answer the question exactly, what I can work with is, at least at a minimum, the design that they sent me. So I actually said, you know what, email me the full resolution design and I'll have some fun with it in a video and see what I can do. Now, of course, design is very subjective, and you guys know that I am not even really a strong designer, like in the terms of like creating my own graphics. So that's not what I'm going to attempt to do in this video. I'm literally just going to tweak the design that you can see over my shoulder here. I'm just going to tweak it a little bit and see if I can't make some improvements and kind of talk you through my thought process as we go, okay? But of course, like if you're not, you know what I mean? If you're the 100,000th shirt indexed on Cinco de Mayo, right? Like this is a pretty, if you can see behind me here, it's a sombrero and it says Cinco de Mayo. Like if that's you and you have no ads, like it's gonna be tough to make a sale. It doesn't mean it's impossible to make a sale, right? We know that the algorithm tends to cycle products and at a minimum give new submissions a chance to get seen, to get at least one impression. But you may only get that one impression, and you'll never even know you got the impression, by the way, because Amazon doesn't tell you those things, because why would they? You know, they're very, very secretive with their data, of course. Competitive advantage, I guess. But, you know, like, we know that if this is the next big thing, the next big trend, then there's going to be a lot of sales in this space. So, of course, it's going to get crowded. The more crowded it gets with supply doesn't mean that, you know, the first page of Amazon all of a sudden has the ability to accommodate the supply and give everybody equal visibility in front of the customers, right? So anyways, that was a long-winded way of saying we're going to work with what we have and try to improve this design. Let's get started. Real quick reminder, take advantage of the free weekly print-on-demand giveaway linked at the top of the description. 2 winners will be randomly selected and announced this Sunday. Also, I've got a free Merch by Amazon mini course in the description. It is more thorough than you probably think, so I would recommend you take advantage of that if you think you will benefit from it. And I've got a great Merch by Amazon Facebook group that I'd love to have you in. Lots of great sellers and a whole community helping each other succeed. All right, we are here in Photoshop. This is my graphic design application of choice because I'm a creature of habit and I've been using it for probably, if not 20 years, very close to 20 years. So anyways, my goal here, this is the original design right here above my finger. And I'm going to leave that one as is. And that way I will kind of work with, this is also the original design, by the way, right here behind me, but we'll make some edits to it. I'll talk you through my thought process. I don't have anything planned, by the way. This is just like off the cuff. I'm just going to figure it out and pretend like I'm not recording and just kind of rifle through it and see if I can make it any better. I've already got some ideas, but then I'm going to pop it on over here on the left side and we can just compare them side by side and see if I was able to improve on this design, because probably outside of visibility, like I think your design being, as I say in air quotes, good enough is a huge determining factor in your success. Now, one of the things, I'm just going to say it first, it's not even related to this design. Well, it is in a way. I want to strongly recommend that you make symmetrical designs. Symmetrical, right? All right. So not asymmetric, but symmetrical. Not that you can't pull off a nice looking asymmetric design, but it is harder to do than you think. And many people who say they don't make sales, and I say, okay, send me your designs. And then the first thing I say is like, yo, you're getting like really complicated here. Like just keep it simple. At least when you start, keep it simple, right? The symmetrical designs that are like great, you know, contrast, big, bold, easy to read, you know, just a great starting point, right? And then you can kind of get crazy from there. This is an asymmetric design, but it's also kind of symmetrical at the same way. But I just wanted to say that really quickly because it's like a recurring theme. I'm on the receiving end of a lot of this, and you know, if we can all get better together, that'd be great. All right. So the first thing that I'm thinking of, and I have the black background enabled for a reason. Actually, this works on a white background, but it doesn't look as good. They had enabled the black t-shirt on their Merch by Amazon listing. And when you do that, you guarantee you're going to get a black t-shirt in search results. And you need to get clicked in search results amidst a sea of competition. So if you're going to enable the black t-shirt, optimize for a black background, all right? And you know, the easiest way to make sure we get the right color black is probably to actually take the merch thumbnail right here behind me. I'm going to use the eyedropper tool and I will get, because it's not actually, you know, flat black. It's not hex code 000000. It's 11191C. So anybody not familiar with the hex codes, not that you need to memorize this, but from being a web developer, I definitely do have at least the grayscales to white memorized, you know, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4. That's just going from like black to lighter and lighter shades of gray. And, you know, as you go, you transition from 999 to AAA, BBB, CCC. You go to FFF, that's white. All right. Everybody learned something today. All right. So here we go. That's actually more or less the black merch shirt color. Okay. So now let's make some decisions that allow our design in the foreground to contrast well against that black shirt. All right. Again, we're just working with design here. There's obviously other things we can do. This is why I have like a full merch course, because, you know, there's a lot of moving parts. The first thing I'd probably like to do, and I haven't tried this in a while, but let me see. Okay, that's the design right here. I'll move that layer to the top. I'm going to flatten it. Let me see if I can do a color replace. Have I tried that in a while? Color range, select. All right, if I select color range here, isn't there a replace color? I haven't tried it in a while, but that does exist in Photoshop, doesn't it? All right, I don't want to make this video bad, so I'm going to give up on it if I can't find it in the next like 2 seconds. New fill. All right, there is something that's called replace color. I don't remember where it is, but this would have been a nice way of doing it, because the one thing I know I want to do is I want to take this color red and I want to make it kind of a brighter shade. But you know what else you can do? I can just kind of, by the way, what I just did is I went to filter, or no, sorry, I went to select, then I went to color range, and then I clicked into that red. And you can see it highlights all of the various parts of this design using that color red. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to Control C and Control V. Okay, now I just pasted it onto the document. So you can see here I've got like a clone of this, of everything in that color red. Now I'm just going to go to that layer. I'm going to go to blending options. I'll go to color overlay, and you can see here I didn't do a good job lining it up, so I'll fix that. Okay, now I made it white. That's not really what I wanted to do. I just wanted to make sure it was lined up. And now why don't I make it like, I want to find a red that I think contrasts better against that merch dark t-shirt. All right, so it's definitely subjective, but you know, if I go to like this, like blood red, like the darker the red against a dark background, I don't think is necessarily as complementary. Like complementary colors tend to contrast well against each other. All right, like if I went to black, that's not very good, right? We know that. So let me find a red that I think is a little bit like lighter, that I think will stand out. Or, you know, sometimes you can like I like this tan color in the design, so I can click the tan color, and that doesn't even look all that bad, but I can then drag the slider up here to red and get basically like the red equivalent of that color. Okay, I like this right here. I'm going to use that. But as you can see there, it makes the hat kind of look weird. So maybe another way of doing this too is you can also go to like image, adjustments, hue, and you can just drag the color slider. All right. And when you do this, like you also can kind of preview it and you get a lot more flexibility. I think that might be a good one right there. Even though it's kind of like a pinkish red, I kind of like how that contrasts against the background. So I'm going to roll with that. All right. So we have that. The green also in the original design is also pretty dark, right? We don't need it to be dark. We want it to stand out, to pop. So I'm going to do the same thing. Control C, Control V. So I'm going to label the layer green, label the one red. And now I'll just go to the image adjustments, hue, and make it more of a brighter green. You can also mess with the saturation to get like a more electric green. Maybe I'll even see if I can mess around with that on the red and see if there's like a, yeah, see it's getting darker and darker though. I don't know that I like that as much. I kind of want it to be, I want to keep it light, you know? Okay. So I'm just, and again, this is all subjective, so maybe this is like a terrible video. If it is, let me know in the comments, but I'm just trying to make it pop more. I want it to pop off of the shirt because, again, we're working with an existing design. We're not just starting from scratch. I did do a video already earlier this week where I show you how I would make some Cinco de Mayo designs from scratch. Also, I mean, you kind of see me rifle through a bunch of designs rather than spending a bunch of time on one design, because when people look at search results, nobody knows how long it took that person to make that design. So you don't get bonus points for spending an hour on one design when somebody else can make 50 designs in 1 hour. All right. So you know what I mean? There's no bonus points for that. What else? I mean, I actually like the way this design is styled. Like a lot of times there's more for me to pick apart. Like maybe we can mess with the hue and saturation again of the primary graphic here and see if there's anything we can do to make it just pop a little bit more. Like I've tweaked the colors here just a little bit to be a little bit brighter, of like a yellow, so it kind of like shines off the page. And I don't want to get into like editing and deleting and removing graphics. So, and I don't like, by the way, quick note too, I don't like to do things like add drop shadows. I'm not a fan of adding like strokes. So, you know, everybody has their own personal opinions, but I am not a fan of doing something like this to print on demand shirts. And I see, it's almost like I don't want to be that guy, but it feels like it's like an amateur thing to do in my mind most of the time. It's not that you can't do it and have it look right. Like it has its place, but yeah, like, I mean, it's one of those things that like amateurs do in my opinion. So like adding a stroke, I say, is a no-no. If you want to do something like a drop shadow, don't do an actual drop shadow that you see in like my YouTube thumbnails, right? That's not going to translate well into print. But if you want to do something, what you can do is like change the angle to like 90 so that's straight down. And then you can mess with like the distance, and you can do something like this where it's a solid color black. It's not some weird translucent like off black or something. And by the way, I'm not a professional designer. This is just my personal opinion. All right. But you can do something like this. And all I really did was, I mean, if you want the exact codes here, it was angle 90 degrees, blend mode normal, color is 000000. So the hex code for solid black. Distance you can play with. I just did more distance so that it pushes it down. Spread I did 6%, but you can kind of mess around with that. It doesn't really, I don't think it makes that much of a difference because the size is at 0. So it shouldn't really matter actually. Size, I put 0px, because when you mess with the size, it starts getting like cloudy, and that cloudy effect does not translate very well, if at all, in print on demand. All right. So maybe the distance, it is, okay, I know what I need to do. So I might, this is a little bit tricky here. So in order to, see, I don't want to make this video too long, but like you saw that like the drop shadow was going on top of the graphic, when in reality this layer is supposed to be in the background. So do I even really want to go, I mean, I could make this video longer and try to make it like perfect, but you see like some of it is like on top of the hat itself. So I guess we could just say, okay, we like this, let's merge this layer and then clean up really quickly, you know, where it's overlaid on the hat, because we know that that shouldn't be there. Okay. It's selecting everything naturally, so I'm just gonna go quickly here. And if I was really gonna sell this on a t-shirt, I would take a little bit more time. Okay, good enough, good enough. Next we might do the same thing to the green layer really quickly to keep it consistent. Drop shadow, there we go. All right, and hey, I mean, I don't think it looks that bad. The only last thing left is to maybe, just for consistency purposes, select that yellow that I think is just fine. Not actually make any edits to it, but no, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm not going to do the color select. I just want to grab the ones on the outside. So I'm going to use the magic wand. If you hold shift, you can multi-select, copy paste into its own layer here, paste layer style. Oops, that's not the layer style I wanted. I did not want an outer glow. I wanted the drop shadow. Boom. All right. Maybe I made this design better. Maybe I made it worse. You guys let me know. But for now, why don't we copy it over here and do a quick side by side and kind of see how it turned out, you know? Also, you guys know I love to preach like speed and stuff like that. So generally speaking, I mean, you know, do I think the original design that we were working with was good enough? Yeah, I do. I think it was good enough for sure. So I'm just being really picky here because they reached out to me. Okay. Otherwise, I mean, I wouldn't really, like, a lot of times people send me designs and I'm like, yeah, like I'm always friendly, but I'm like, oh, you know, maybe change this, change that, make it symmetrical. Right. But in this case, I think the design over here, the initial one, was pretty good, but you know, side by side, you guys be the judge. I'm trying to zoom in, but it's not working. So maybe we'll just stay here. Which one do you guys like more? Why can't I zoom in? That is weird. Zoom, 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 zoom. It's not working. View, zoom in. And now we're too zoomed in. So, but there we go. Side by side. You can see the two graphics. If you don't have like a nice computer monitor display, it may not even show through, because I'm looking at my side monitor over here where I can see myself recording and you can barely tell the difference. But on a nicer monitor, you should be able to see the difference between these two graphics, guys. So yeah, I think I'll wrap the video here. If you guys enjoyed this video, please let the YouTube algorithm know by hitting that like button. And if you have any feedback or questions or comments, hit me up in the comment section below. Please subscribe so I can hit 100,000 subscribers. And last plug, I do have a full print on demand merch by Amazon course. Check it out. The link's in the description. It covers everything you need to know: research, design, SEO, everything, literally automation even. So yeah, check that out, guys. Thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow with a new video.